Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and I'm delighted to be welcoming Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh to this weekly show. And I recollect his immense contribution towards bringing America and India closer. And as we are on the threshold of revival, we will be talking to him about the recent address of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Dr. Parikh, welcome to this week's um, show with you. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaskar.
So, so Doctor, I'm sure you must have paid attention to the recent address of Prime Minister Modi yesterday.
Yes, yes.
So, what do you think was the key point which was highlighted by him?
Well, I mean, what he is saying that reopening of the India in such a way to, and also the boost the economic revival of the India. And that's why he kind of announced a very big, large package, almost 20 lakhs crore rupees, I think, if I'm not wrong, to stimulate the economy, just like what Trump administration did here by giving that PPP loan to all the small businesses, provided they maintain their staff and employee for next at least 3 months till everything gets going. And I think what Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi has very nicely put that to revive the economy, you have to come up with a certain projects like infrastructure and other project to stimulate the economy. And once the economy gets stimulated, there will be a trickle-down effect, and everyone, all the classes of the society will get the advantage and benefit of it.
I think the way he started off, as always, he comes across as an inspiring speaker. He talked about giving importance to local businesses, and he said that let us be vocal for the local. What do you think about this idea of moving towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbharta, as was mentioned by him again and again?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What he's trying to do is he's trying to take a, a kind of blessing in disguise, in a kind of thing, because even this COVID situation is very, very horrible and very unfortunate. But he's looking a silver lining out of that and make India a more manufacturing hub, and bringing the China supplier manufacturing and all the supplies of the world, part of it to the India, and boost the Indian economy.
So, talking about the significance of this package, and he said that finance minister would be giving the details about the allocation. He didn't
Right.
get into the details himself during his address yesterday, but again, he said be vocal for the local, and then local can go to global. So his choice of words is very apt as always, and he comes across as an impressive speaker. So that is one side. But there are many critics who say that he was short on giving exact details and the roadmap. What do you think about these both sides?
No, I mean, as a prime minister, I think he has to give only broad outline of whatever this stimulus package is and what this stimulus package will do to the people at large. He does not need to go into too much detail. So I think that criticism is unwarranted. And of course, that is a job of finance minister. And I think this morning I glanced at finance minister's speech, and she was giving very detailed and where the money will go, how much to infrastructure, how much to healthcare, how much to manufacturing, and whole idea is to attract the foreign investor in India, to boost manufacturing in India, and make the India like another China, where they can supply all the supply chain to the globe world.
So on the one hand, it looks like India has certain advantageous points with the overall politics of the world, China's position, many countries not looking at China favorably, and probably India is likely to be the next destination for many entrepreneurs. Do you see that happening in near future, Doctor?
Well, I mean, theoretically, India is the ideal location, ideal place to be whole world to go, because India has a large young population. India has very intellectual population, and India has very educated population too. And for any kind of manufacturing, I think India can be very useful. Plus, as compared to Western world or developed countries, India's manufacturing in India, just like China, is much cheaper to the international companies, and therefore I think India is a very ideal location, ideal destination for foreign investor.
And also, India has shown its manufacturing capacities by coming up to the challenge and starting recently, as is the need, 2 lakh PPE every day, as well as 2 lakh
Yes,
masks
yes.
every day.
Because India has manpower. See, when you have manpower, when you have know-how, or you have young population, 80% of the people are young population who can work hard. I think India is the right place for this kind of foreign investor, as well as supply chain manufacturer.
Another thing, globally speaking, there are many Indians who, of course, the whole world is a village nowadays. So I personally got the opportunity of talking to many uh, Indians who were evacuated by Air India and Government India's efforts, and they were very appreciative of this gesture and the considerate approach of Modi government. It's a massive operation. Many countries, Indians coming back. What do you think about that side with respect to Modi government?
Well, I mean, our publication this week, yesterday in Desi Talk, we did a cover story on this home going. It's called
Right.
home going, and I think India has done right thing, because all the citizens of any country, the government of the particular country has obligation to bring those citizens back home if they want to come home, because at the end of the day, your home is wherever you are citizen. And I think what government of India has done is an excellent idea plan, and brought so many, and still bringing so many the Indian citizens from all over the world, including USA.
And let me share, probably you're aware, but this Prime Minister Care Fund, which was launched and it has collected quite a bit of funds, it has allocated 2,000 crore for purchasing ventilators and 1,000 crore for migrants. So these migrant workers, that problem seems to be coming from almost all the states. How do you see the efforts in terms of coordination between state and center? Because you will read in coming days also many dissatisfying experiences of people for obvious reasons.
Well, I mean, for obvious reason, you cannot do the perfect planning. But I think this is a great gesture by government of India to the migrant, because migrant are also our brothers and sisters, and they have every rights what upper middle class or rich people in India has. Because India is not for only for well-to-do people, but India is also for people who work for you, and who work in the real estate industry, who works in the manufacturing industry, who works in the auto industry, and those migrant and those people, those who are daily wager, it's very important for economy of any country. And I think to take care of them, it's really both. It's economically is very smart thing to do, as well as it's a very humane gesture, which one must do because after all the people of India are equal.
So there are equality, and then the role that chief ministers play with respective states. And as we speak, we talked about this big stimulus package announced. One response from Chief Minister of West Bengal is that big zero in this, nothing for the states. So indeed, it is her apprehension or whatever way she's perceiving, but it ultimately results into how things are implemented. That you see as a problem between states and center.
Well, I mean, this is also, we are seeing here too. Here also, governor of New York is looking for money for a state because of a lot of expenses on this pandemic crisis. And the central government here also, they are kind of resisting because they think that certain governors are not mismanaging their budget and allocation of the money fund. So it's kind of has two sides of the story. But of course, center and the state has to work together. Center should provide financial help to all the state because the state who is going to implement that project or plan, and because state knows, doesn't matter what state it is, whether it's a BJP rule state or Congress rule state or otherwise, the state chief minister knows real situation on the ground and how to implement. So I think a good coordination between center and state is must. And obviously, you cannot please all the state equally, and there is always complaint on dissatisfaction. But overall, has to be worked in tandem.
Talking about the need of coordination and learning from each other, when you compare the way America is approaching the process of revival, and there are many similarities, as you mentioned, about the states and center having some or the other differences in terms of how things are happening. Is there any lesson that you think India can learn from America, or vice versa, something that America can learn? Because the situation, the challenge is similar, and there are certain parallels.
Yeah, I mean, both country can learn from each other, and the main thing is how the central government should fund small businesses, because 80% of the economy depend on the small businesses. So central government should do that. What Trump administration did here by giving a kind of loan, forgivable loan to all the employer who can hold on to their employees, and that way economy can revive sooner and faster. And number two, again, state and central has to work with hands to hand with the tandem, because center can give the fund, but if state does not implement properly, then that fund cannot be achieved its maximum potential.
And lastly, Dr. Saab, as everybody is eager to go back to the normal life, which is going to be a new normal, and some people become complacent when they see that things are not as alarming as they were. So I would request you to repeat the precautions that still need to be sincerely observed, and anything in the direction of opening up that you foresee.
Well, I think opening should be done slowly and methodically, because virus is going to hang around for a long time. And so now, in last 2 months, we all learned how to live with the virus, in a sense that we must wear the mask when we are in the public. We must keep our personal hygiene, and keep the social distance. If you do these three things, probably chances of catching the virus is very, very small. So if everybody acts the responsible way, everybody acts the way they should, according to guideline, I think we can open very easily and successfully, and then future nobody can predict, and so we have to. I mean, we had this kind of pandemic 15 years ago or 16 years ago, and that pandemic again, as you know, that SARS never came back. So you never know how this virus will act. I mean, it may come back, it may linger around longer, or it may not come back. So there's no way to predict. No scientist can predict this thing. I mean, we can. So I think we should be calm, composed, more practical, and less fearful. And we should go back to normal, but it's a modified normal. And as long as we do that, I think in next few months, we'll be back to a kind of routine.
So your last remarks pretty much are covered, but I would still request you, anything that you would like to add as you say goodbye from today's show?
Well, dear friends, again, we are passing through a very horrible pandemic. We are at the end of the pandemic. We dealt with more or less successfully whatever possible. And I think India has done great mitigation, and we must congratulate the Prime Minister and his government for that. And let's be safe, keep social distance, wear the mask in public, and keep the aggressive physical own personal hygiene. And if you do that, you will win. And so after saying that, let me say goodbye to you guys. We'll see you next week. Jai Hind. God bless America. God bless India. Thank you. Bye.